So hello everyone. Today we have Kailash with us, and it's a PMP success story video again. And we will discuss how Kailash achieved his PMP certification relatively in a short time. I guess it was not that long. There were some challenges in between which made journey little longer, but not that long as well. Yeah, but before we talk about PMP, Kailash, we want to know about you. So why don't you give a quick introduction of yourself so that we know more about you?
Yeah, Sakit. Good afternoon, friends. Friends, I'm Kailash Chaudhary, and I belong to CBRE South Asia Private Limited. So in the CBRE, I'm looking after the team of the project management professionals. That includes at the client side, that includes at our own people. So basically, my role is more towards the handling the people, towards the handling the teams and motivating the teams to align with the requirements of the projects and all that. And as far as this PMP is concerned, actually I got one, you can say, a challenge, because I used to accept the challenges. So this was a challenge, and new challenge to me. Let us take that and let us see whether I will be able to do that or not. Yeah, that was the journey started.
Okay. Okay. So what I understand is that your work involves working with projects. Your work involves working with teams. So you find yourself doing a lot of team related activities, motivating, guiding, handling them, and motivating them to get the right requirements, something like this. So that's what I'm capturing. And you took PMP as a challenge, so you wanted to do, and you say, okay, if this looks little interesting, why don't we do it? Yeah. So something like this. Yeah. So tell me about your PMP journey, how the whole thing started and what you did during your preparation and finally got certified.
Okay. The journey started in the May this year, sorry. This year, actually, I thought, let us go for it. So then I searched the platforms and all that. Then I actually registered as a member, and then I got in contact with you. So I started with your classes in the June, 1st June onwards. But unfortunately, what happened, the same day I got COVID on the first day. So then I withdraw it back, and then again I joined in July your course. So from, you can say, effectively from July, I started preparing from the 10th of July, you can say. And by 15th of August, I could clear that. This journey was, what I observed, Saket, is more towards measuring your ability, how you handle the team, or rather you can say your mental, basically, to handling the people, handling the situations. This was more towards that, because when you make it artificial, when you read and then give answers, it does not look the natural one. So I answered all the questions there, which were there. I answered on the basis of what a natural reaction should come logically. That way, actually, I have done it.
Okay. So I can say that you did in more or less 30-35 days, when you restarted your preparation. And the previous one you just enrolled, and then you recovered from the COVID and finally restarted your preparation. And from a experience perspective, what you feel is that there is a good amount of people domain content in it. PMI formally declares it's a 42%, but even for the remaining percent, also some amount of people flavor keeps coming. Even in the remaining agile or process flavor, people flavor will be always there. And you feel that since your experience was working with the people on a day-to-day basis, and most of the time your natural reaction to a situation was helping you to find the right answer. And when you really took the exam, you also relied on your natural reaction. So if I take it here is that if people, individuals are working with people, and which is a good thing as well. So you know how to handle those situations, those conflicts, those motivations, those trainings, those development well. and maybe you prepare, identify the best approaches of handling those situations, and then you naturally start working towards them.
Correct.
And that will also help you in handling your day-to-day problem as well as your PMP exam.
Correct. Very,
Yeah.
very right.
Perfect. Yeah, great. And what about Agile? I think you were not experienced in Agile. And I think when you came in the class and you started learning and thinking about Agile from that point in time, yeah, how was your background related to Agile?
Yes. My background of Agile is not at all there, to be very frank, because I'm working in an industry which is more towards the construction. So Agile is only a very little part, but that also was not my core competency as on Agile. So my exposure to Agile was limited. To be precise, I was only learned about Agile through your classes and through the content of PMI. Before that, I was not knowing much about Agile. Of course, I have heard Agile, I have heard the Scrum and all that, but I was not knowing much about.
Okay, so how you found it? Like how easy or difficult for you it was to learn and then start answering questions which were related to Agile? Okay, I think there is a glitch. Let me repeat.
Actually, I taken it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. As per me, the Agile, which actually I have gone through, it is more towards empowering people, and more towards the self-regulating teams and all that. And it was, you can say, very near to my heart, to be very frank, because if you see the defense there, we work as a team. So it was always near to my heart. And when I heard about this Agile, when I go through the content of Agile, then I thought, yes, we already were doing this. Okay, we call it, the name was, the terminology may be different, but it's always near to me when I went through this content. So it was not difficult for me to attempt Agile.
Okay. So if I just interpret it right, we can say the Agile has two sections. Agile study might be. One section is about how do you work with people, how do you plan work together, how do you organize work together, how do you monitor work together, and your team working experience and the way you have been in working with those individuals was pretty much aligned in that way of working. So you like those ideas of empowering people, self-organizing, asking them what should we do rather than giving them the task. So that part you found familiar. Yes. And I think the remaining part, which was just little rudimentary kind of artifacts and all, might be easy to study, the product backlog and all those things, that with the help of our classes and video might have caught up the thing. Yeah. Yeah. I can assume, the process part must, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
So I assume the process part must be relative.
What helped me? Saket, go ahead.
No. What I was saying is that maybe the process part might have been little easy for you because your work involves those kind of terminology significantly, I guess.
Correct.
So
my working, where we are working, Saket, this is more towards the creating documents like your schedule management, scoping, and all these issues were which we are doing. But which I found this content was not that much, but particularly in exam. Now, this was the area earlier. Earlier, we used to say that project management means is scheduling only. But now that content is, after this is actually reducing the total value from the exam, which I observe.
Yeah. So when I teach project schedule nowadays, so I do tell people that please study this, because many times you may meet project managers, stakeholders who may consider this as the core content of project planning. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Of course,
But having said that, in today's world, and as well as in a PMP exam, they have shifted their focus from those critical path and schedule and dependency management to the collaboration, helping people to find out what they should do, resolving conflicts, and planning in a small pieces rather than a large piece. So that's why the focus of the content may not be that much. But traditionally, people used to carry like 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 lines of project schedule, which requires too much analysis to understand what is a critical path, and everything happens around the project schedule. You can't go in any meeting without opening a project schedule, showing the milestone, showing how it is going forward. But looks like the gradual movement of project management is away from it, and that's what the PMP exam is also taking us away from it.
Yes, correct.
Anything else you observed when when you look the project management and PMP exam from the eye of what you have been doing and what you experience in the PMP preparation overall?
The overall PMP preparation, as I say, because I worked with the team also, we were having a team of 4 or 5 people which we are working together. What I see, the people are somewhat afraid of taking exam. I'm not able to digest this. That they should go likewise. You were telling that time that do not delay this. This is what I observed. That people were little bit having some resistance here. I may be pass, I may not pass. I don't know how they are thinking. But my suggestion will be, let us go for it, and then we'll see. Because once you book this and make a deadline that on so and so date I have to appear for the exam, now it gives you a motivation also that I have to prepare in this time box, right?
Okay.
When I delay it for months or 2 months or 3 months, so that your seriousness of the preparation goes down.
Yes. So that's a little like interesting and good observation. And I can say that even if you had this challenge of COVID and then thing got delayed, but once you resumed, I think by the time we finished the class, you kind of gave the exam. So that's how you scheduled it. And your observation is that better not to delay it, and because you may lose the momentum, and there is nothing to memorize. So it's not much which requires time to remember. It's not a function of time, because sometimes you need to repeat, memorize, then probably you will be able to answer it. That is, this exam is not that type of exam. So there is no much utility of time. It's more about understanding and the mindset of it. If you understand, if you get it, how to work with people, how to, what are the critical area of project management, how do you handle things in agile, in hybrid space, and you have a good picture of it. Rest, the questions are situational. They are not testing your memory. They are testing your decision-making capacity in a given situation, which you probably will be able to do. Yeah.
Exactly, Saket. This is what I've noticed. Actually, when you read through these lines of the questions, now you have to enter into that situation. Your actually thought has to go that I am in that situation. You have to visualize that situation and then give an answer. So in that, the memory and all is not at all needed. Only you must know the situation. See, suppose if I give an example of, say, this thing, sprint review meeting. So if you visualize the sprint review meeting, so how it looks like, who all are the part of it, what are the things happening on, immediately all these things comes into your mind. When you visualize and then you give an answer, it's very easy to answer the questions that. But if you memorize them, then you will be searching for the answers.
Yeah. That's an interesting tip. The way I used to tell people that whenever you are studying a process, whenever you are studying a particular project management thing, see how you do that in your day-to-day work, and remember when you are doing it. And if you are not doing it, then try to observe someone else doing it. Maybe, someone else doing risk management, so you can see what these guys are doing. But the third thing which you are bringing in, there could be a situation you might be working in the area where you are not doing and someone else is also not doing, like sprint review, because in your project, for example, there is no agile terminologies or other things are happening, assuming, then you probably need to visualize it and says, okay, there is a sprint review, there is a team coming in, they are connecting the projector, showing the demo, and people are asking questions, and there is a product owner who making note of it, and then there are issues and there are clarifications, and at the end they are also taking the feedback, and based on the feedback the product owner may say, okay guys, thank you, but you guys have given a good feedback, let's meet next week again, not in a sprint review, and we will have a detailed analysis of these feedback, and we will identify how do we prioritize the product backlog. So if someone visualize like this, probably that will help them to answer the questions.
Yes, that will help. That will help.
Yeah, good. So yeah, so it's more about relating. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. My point is only to the team is, and to the future participants also, that do not delay the exam, because some 2-3 people called me. They are telling I'm only scoring in the mock test, I'm scoring only 60, 65. It should be 70. Somebody it should be 70. It is 70, and I told them I've never scored more than 58 in any of the mock tests.
Yeah.
Because my highest score was 58 only.
So and you scored all above target after finally.
Yes. So it does not matter. The main thing is whether you understand the concepts or not. That is important.
Yeah. And again, what I have been observing based on various feedbacks, that the mock tests are relatively more complicated as of now, and maybe over a period of time the PMP exam may also become a little more tricky over a period of time, maybe. But in the current phase, the kind of, and it's something like the PMI's version of mock test, and which is interpreted and explained by various providers. One may score around 60%, which is good enough, provided you know why the 40% were wrong. And then you know that, okay, these are the situation I need to handle, and I understand overall perspective of it. Yeah.
Correct. You're right.
Perfect. Yeah. So I don't have any specific questions. So we spoke about preparation, we spoke about people domain, we spoke about agile, we spoke about generic project management. The business domain, I usually find people find difficult to identify the business domain, but what was with you? Like, could you identify something happening in a business domain? Or
No,
it just
no, I could not identify anything. And agile, which I observed, the majority of the question was from the agile or from the hybrid. Very little question over there, which were typically predictive type of questions. Otherwise, maximum stuff was from the agile and hybrid.
So that's another important observation, and we made a small video on hybrid also, that once the test taker need to consider various aspects of hybrid. One is that when to apply hybrid, that's a one aspect. The another aspect is how to integrate agile and non-agile approaches in planning, in costing, in milestone scheduling, integration, in feedback collection, in customer deliveries, because one thing is happening a little bit dynamically, other thing is happening a little bit stably. So one has to have that approach clear, that, okay, when I am dealing with these two kind of pieces and they need to integrate ultimately, how do I handle that? So that kind of understanding probably will help people to understand the hybrid well. Yeah. There is a small video which I prepared if someone wants to check it, hybrid. I think it's a 25 minutes video where we explain and we take few questions on the hybrid again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I believe you limited your mock and other things to our program only. You were not spending time here and there, I guess. Yeah.
No, not spending much time. On this also, I have an advice to the candidates, that please do not go for multiple sources. Time yourself with one source, because in different you will get confused. So if you align to one particular way, then it's fine. And mock test is really important, and one must go for full mock test at least 2-3 times. Because this is a endurance for 4 hours. Sitting 4 hours is also an endurance test also for you.
Yeah, perfect. So what I see, and there are some test taker who are very playing safe. Yeah, they end up going multiple locations. Yeah, they end up looking at multiple sources of mock and multiple sources of class. But again, that can just delay your exam giving process. It may take 6 months, 1 year. If you are thinking of finishing the exam in 1.5 months, maximum 2 months, then I think you may not do this hopping. Yeah, you better stick to one path. That's the good thing. Yeah, do your research maybe before you select the provider. So maybe you ensure that you select the right provider who has a track record of providing the consistent information, which is well aligned with PMIs and agile way of thinking. And if once one gets that done, then better you stick there, and probably you can finish it in a 1 or 2 months time. And the second thing which you spoke about, I keep hearing this from various test takers as well, the time management. So yes, when you take a full length mock test, you develop a style of managing time. That will be a unique style for you. And you also create a endurance for sitting for 4 hours and keep thinking for 4 hours, because keep thinking for 4 hours is also a difficult job. You may sit, but yeah, after a while, your mind may get saturated and says too much. Now I just want to finish this. I don't care if I pass or fail. I just want to finish it. So that kind of a feeling starts coming in. So you need to train yourself for that.
Yes.
Good. So yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, Saket. Thank you.
Yeah, so it was nice working with you. I think you showed pretty fast speed, and your questions and interactions were very useful in the class. And I think hearing your story, people also are feeling motivated. Hopefully, we will see many of your batchmate, which the batch finished on the 14th August only, I guess. Yeah, so it's pretty nearby, just not less than not even week. Hopefully we'll do quicker and get certified. Yeah. Thank you, Kailash, for taking time and sharing your journey.
Thank you, Saket. Thank you very much.